Hello and welcome to the third angle at Teng Fong, Sino Group Belt and Road Research Institute, Kong Chu Hai College. Dear viewers, today we will talk about Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a strategic center of the global politics and a global economy. To talk on these issues, we have with us our colleague, a businessman and strategic thinker, Joseph Chen. So, welcome to our show, Joseph. Joseph, let me start with the very basic question. When we see history, like before 1997, we saw that Hong Kong was once the center of the global development, the strategic development, beside the economic growth and other things, but it has a strategic positioning over the global affairs. And then there was a dip, and now again we are seeing Hong Kong becoming once again a center of global strategic positioning, and particularly if you look at the mainland China and with the South China Sea affairs, how it comes, how Hong Kong is gaining its strategic positioning again on the global stage.
Well, to me as a Hong Kong born and bred person, my understanding of Hong Kong's strategic position before 1997. When Hong Kong was still a British colony, everything was, well defined by the British government. Hong Kong was used as, a center, a tax haven, for the British Commonwealth countries. A lot of these countries, corporates, they have a regional headquarters in Hong Kong, and a lot of the profits are kept in Hong Kong. And for because of Hong Kong's very low tax regime, and also at the time China was developing, and the reform of China took place in early 1980s. So China was actually it's like a sweatshop shop. That a lot of the manufacturing process were done in China. So it's because of convenience that Hong Kong became a trading port, a re-entry port. A lot of these manufacturing orders, they were done through Hong Kong. That was the reason why when we do the statistics, Hong Kong became the largest investor or direct investment place, in China, and it was like a, in fact, most of the money, did not came from Hong Kong. It was, anywhere in the world through Hong Kong. Now that was, Hong Kong's position, before 1997, mm-hmm. And also at the time, Hong Kong was still a British colony, and a lot of these, treaties, were in favor of China at the time because China was opening, and a lot of global companies, they come to Hong Kong, they open, their regional headquarters, in Hong Kong, for tax planning, also for entering into China. Hong Kong is probably the best place because it still uses common law. And China also accommodate, Hong Kong, at the same time, on a reciprocal basis, China through Hong Kong, they go out. It's, there was this, going out policy, before 1997, that China was using Hong Kong as a hub, as a bridge, mm-hmm. to go, overseas, to, the Middle East, to, Africa, to, the Americas. Yeah, and because of that, Hong Kong accumulated a ample experience, not only in trading. We also at the time had one of the biggest port, mm-hmm. in the world, mm-hmm. and a couple of years, we were number one in the world, in fact, and also huge financial institutions, banks, investment banks, security brokers, they all have, their regional headquarters in Hong Kong. looking after the Far East operations. In fact, when I say, Far East is more or less China. So, that helped China as well, because, at the time, China had this, infrastructure idea, to build infrastructure, roads, railways, bridges, to at least alleviate, poverty, and to create employment, and that paved way, for China's enter into the WTO in the year 2000. So, before 1997, Hong Kong's, position is very clear. It's, East meet West, it's a global city, and at the time, Hong Kong's currency was already packed with US dollar, so it created some stability. And China at the time needed, foreign exchange anyway, so Hong Kong provides, just that for China.
Okay, and then we saw a financial crunch suddenly after the British left the region in 1998, and we saw how Beijing support Hong Kong economy. So do you believe that such help from Beijing, it also developed Hong Kong on its new path, how Hong Kong used to be with the westernized ideology, and then suddenly there was a crisis and Beijing supported them. The Prime Minister openly stated that they will come to rescue Hong Kong. So do you believe that this was a kind of connect with the mainland, that in time of needs, it was Beijing who came to rescue Hong Kong?
As a financial professional, I think it's a myth, how much, Beijing has helped Hong Kong during the Asia financial crisis back in 1997, 98. Because, at the time, when George Soros, struck Asia, Hong Kong was actually in a very good position. It wasn't that bad. It was, our ASEAN, neighbors that got into trouble. Whereas Hong Kong was actually acting as a rescuer. And because we had a very stable, and secure, financial market. We have a lot of foreign exchange on hand, and we have very strong corporate incomes, probably derived out of, trading with mainland China. And obviously, during the Asian financial crisis, Hong Kong has already returned to the motherland. So Beijing, obviously, on policy-wise, Beijing offered a lot of, comfort to Hong Kong, and because of that, our Hong Kong government, they had all the confidence, so they came to other countries' rescue. We helped Thailand, we helped Indonesia. Also, we help a lot of the Chinese companies that went into difficulties. Even we participated in a lot of rescue investments, at the time, through the banks. So I think, Hong Kong's role, has already, been changing a little bit towards being the financial center of China. And also, don't forget, at the time, roughly around 1997, China's economy was not as prosperous as in the last 20 years. Hong Kong's when China's prosperity came really after we joined the WTO back in 2000.
Yeah. So what do you think that this one country, two system, because it benefited even China, like the status that Hong Kong is enjoying. It is more open, it is more engaging, and to tell you the truth, whatever I know about economy, it seems that Hong Kong is becoming the financial or the currency capital of China, of the mainland. So how do you think that one country, two systems, it has benefit, it's a win-win situation for both mainland and also for its part, Hong Kong?
Right. Well, definitely, it's one country, two system. It's the foundation of the success of Hong Kong as well as mainland China, and for the almost 30 years, this one country, two system regime remain intact. Our current president, our former president, they all stress that Hong Kong will continue this one country, two systems, because it's a beauty. Not even Canada, they probably started this one country, two system earlier than us. They have Quebec, they have a different legal regime, maybe even language, but Hong Kong, Beijing used Hong Kong's, one country, two systems, to the utmost, because we have Hong Kong dollar as our legal tender, and Hong Kong dollar is packed with US dollar, so effectively we have two currencies. At the same time, we have our onshore renminbi. And the last 20-something years, we built up a big war chest, in offshore renminbi. So, it is only China that has full, currency, formal currency, fiat currency, operating all at the same time. And don't forget, we have Macau, and they have their own currency. So it's only China in this current world that has 5 currency running at the same time. That's the beauty of it. And this one country, two system allows foreign companies to set up their headquarters, the regional headquarters in Hong Kong, but using Hong Kong to get into the mainland, right? And even if you take a look at our security laws, stock equity laws, there are a lot of in the mainland, there are a lot of common law feature in it. So I would say Beijing benefited a lot, maintaining this one country, two system of Hong Kong.
Okay, my last question is, we again back to the strategic positioning. Recently, the chief executive of Hong Kong has visited Central Asia. How you look at this time and the emerging situation in Central Asia, and Hong Kong being playing the leading role as Chinese, and of course as an independent entity also for the Hong Kong business community. How you look at it?
Well, I'm so happy. At least our chief executive takes this initiative, to break through, to get into Central Asia, to understand Central Asia. I'm one of the few Hong Kongers, that has been in Central Asia, for the last 20-something years. I sincerely hope that Hong Kong government, and the business community are taking this seriously. Obviously, we're new, so we need to understand a lot of fundamentals. Now, not advertising it, but our Fong Sino Group, the Belt and Road Research Institute, is the only academic institute that covers Central Asia, and I would believe, businessmen, strongly advise them before investing seriously in the region, do the studies, come to us.
Know the region first.
Yeah, the whole region, not just the region, but all the Belt and Road countries. Before they invest seriously, they need to know the basics. Legal, frameworks. Languages, culture. And doing a business, it's like you need to know, who you are dealing with.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Dear viewer, keep watching this digital platform. We will bring more such videos. Till then, goodbye and good luck.